At first glance, Ranger appears to be the least complicated class in EDF 4-6. He has no energy system to manage, no support requests to coordinate, and no advanced movement mechanics to master. Yet beneath that simplicity lies years of gradual refinement. Instead of redefining what Ranger is, each game expanded his capabilities while preserving the identity of EDF's standard infantryman. Here's how it happened. Standard issue. Ranger's identity has always been straightforward. As EDF's everyman, he has access to an abundance of ordnance. Although limited by 2 weapon slots, players can freely combine assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, RPGs, missile launchers, grenades, and special weapons to tackle almost any situation. Unlike future entries, 4.1 allows players to equip 2 copies of the same weapon. This opened the door to several unique loadouts, with combinations such as dual Lysander Z sniper rifles becoming one of Ranger's most strongest setups by alternating between each rifle's lengthy firing cycle. Despite this flexibility, Ranger himself remained a comparatively rudimentary class. He had no sprint, no means of independently requesting vehicles, and no advanced movement options beyond the dodge roll. Outside of scripted missions or vehicles supplied by an air raider squad mate in split-screen or multiplayer, repeated dodge rolls served as his fastest method of traversing the battlefield. The dodge roll itself wasn't without purpose. It provided as a brief defensive maneuver, lowered Ranger's hitbox, and allowed him to break through smaller obstacles. However, it was ultimately a defensive action being relied on as the class's primary mobility system. As a result, players are forced to be much more deliberate with their positioning, as poor positioning engagements were considerably more difficult to recover from than they would become in later titles. This limitation was further reinforced by one particularly unforgiving mechanic. Taking repeated damage while performing a dodge roll could leave Ranger stuck rolling in place until the animation finished. Against large groups of enemies, this often resulted in continuous stun locking, preventing the player from regaining control before being overwhelmed. Ranger also retained a subtle leadership role when it came to recruiting NPC squad mates. Any health pickups collected would restore allied EDF soldiers under his command by the same proportion, allowing entire infantry squads to remain combat effective for considerably longer. While mechanically simple, it further reinforced Ranger's role as the backbone of EDF's ground forces. His arsenal reflected this earlier stage of the series as well. Although Ranger already possessed many weapons that would later become series staples, much of his equipment had yet to reach its full potential. Numerous firearms dealt noticeably less damage than their future counterparts. Several weapon families had not yet received the improvements that would later redefine them, and some of Ranger's most powerful equipment was still years away. Even powerful weapons like the Fusion Blaster or Nova Buster ZD, capable of dealing tremendous burst damage, were constrained by their finite ammunition reserves, preventing them from contributing throughout an entire mission. Weapons like these would eventually lose some of their prestige they once had as Ranger's arsenal continued to evolve. Self-sufficiency. While 4.1 laid the foundation for Ranger's identity, EDF 5 focused on making sure that infantrymen can operate noticeably more independently. Instead of introducing an entirely new playstyle, the devs focused on eliminating many of the limitations that had previously hindered the class. The most significant addition was sprinting. Unlike the repetitive dodge rolling of 4.1, Ranger could now rapidly reposition across the battlefield using a dedicated movement mechanic. Even without any additional equipment, sprinting improved his ability to disengage from danger, relocate between engagements, and increase the odds of being able to recover from unfavorable situations. This new mechanic was accompanied by the introduction of support equipment. Much like Wing Diver's interchangeable energy cores, Ranger could now customize his capabilities before every mission. Different sprint support items enhanced different aspects of the movement by combining several passive buffs, ranging from increased max sprint speed and improved turning performance to reduced movement penalties after taking damage, to destroy smaller environmental obstacles while sprinting, and even immunity to getting knocked down by explosives. Collectively, these upgrades addressed many of the mobility shortcomings that had previously forced the class into a narrow, cautious playstyle. Sprinting also introduced an automatic item collection radius surrounding Ranger. So instead of carefully weaving between enemy attacks to manually collect health and armor boxes, nearby items could now be gathered while remaining on the move. Under sustained pressure, this seemingly small addition greatly boosted Ranger's survivability by allowing players to recover resources without sacrificing their momentum. Alternative support equipment could even expand this collection radius considerably, albeit at the cost of returning Ranger to his default sprint speed. Support equipment also expanded Ranger's role beyond mobility alone. Occupying its own dedicated equipment slot, these passive enhancements complemented the class's existing arsenal instead of replacing one of the two weapon slots. Relief assistance equipment further increased the amount of health restored to allied EDF soldiers, building on the leadership role first established in 4.1. Meanwhile, dedicated missile enhancement equipment improved both lock-on speed and acquisition range, letting guided weaponry fulfill a much more specialized role depending on the mission. Perhaps the second most significant addition was Ranger's own personal vehicle roster. Unlike the heavy support vehicles deployed by Air Raider, Ranger could now independently request his own unique tanks, helicopters, and motorcycles throughout a mission. These vehicles dramatically increased his tactical flexibility, providing faster methods of traversal, opportunities for entirely new kiting strategies, and in many situations, an additional layer of protection by absorbing incoming damage before Ranger himself was placed at risk. His arsenal underwent an equally substantial evolution. Returning weapon families received widespread performance improvements across virtually every category, with increased damage, improved handling, and enhanced overall effectiveness. Assault rifles became significantly more capable, while mini-models also gained armor-piercing ammunition. Shotguns received this penetration property across the entire weapon family, increasing their effectiveness against tightly grouped enemies. Rocket launchers and grenade launchers generally benefited from larger blast radii. Missile launchers saw numerous improvements depending on the model, including greater lock-on capacity, faster acquisition speeds, and minor increases in explosive power. The DLC continued this progression by introducing 13 additional weapons alongside 3 new support items, further expanding both Ranger's firepower and independence in battle. Maybe no weapon better represents this philosophy than the Blazer. While the Fusion Blaster from 4.1 delivered a higher sustained power, it was constrained by its single magazine. The Blazer revisited the same high-output laser gun concept, but now removing its most prominent trade-off. Although its damage output was comparatively reduced, its greatly extended range and conventional reload transformed it from a weapon reserved for sporadic, decisive engagements into one capable of contributing throughout an entire mission. In some ways, the Blazer embodies the Ranger's evolution throughout EDF 5, where previous limitations were systematically refined into more practical and versatile tools. One-man army. With Ranger's core identity firmly established, EDF 6 shifted its attention towards broadening the class's tactical flexibility. New equipment categories, expanded weapon progression, and a collection of smaller quality-of-life upgrades all combined to make Ranger more deadlier than ever before. The largest addition to Ranger's playstyle came in the form of a dedicated backpack equipment slot. Grenades, bombs, and mines no longer competed for one of Ranger's 2 primary weapon slots, allowing offensive tools and utility equipment to be carried alongside a complete weapon loadout. This single change greatly expanded the number of options available during every mission. Conventional hand grenades returned alongside specialized equipment, such as the aerial reverser, which deploys a healing gas cloud capable of restoring the health of players, allied EDF soldiers, and even vehicles caught within its radius. The bombs and mines introduced in 5 now occupied their own dedicated category, while several stationary turret models previously exclusive to Air Raider were adapted for Rangers' use. Together, these additions provided new methods of dealing damage, supporting allies, and controlling sections of the battlefield without sacrificing firepower. Rangers' already extensive weapon selection continued to grow throughout EDF 6. Almost every returning weapon family carried over from EDF 5, accompanied by entirely new weapon models that expanded the range of available playstyles. Existing favorites remained effective, while fresh additions ensured the arsenal continued to evolve alongside the game itself. The Blazer series serves again as a good example of this approach. In the past, where they were introduced as in-game DLC equipment, the weapon type was integrated into the main game development, letting players unlock progressively stronger variants throughout the campaign with new interpretations, such as the shotgun variants, that could fulfill their own unique roles. The progression of Ranger's firepower is best illustrated by comparing some of his strongest weapons across multiple games. 4.1 with the Nova Buster. The gun represented the pinnacle of single-shot damage for the class, delivering 80,000 damage in one go before becoming permanently unusable for the remainder of the mission. 6 approaches high damage from a new outlook. The Planet Super Cannon can deliver over 60,000 damage per shot from a 4-round magazine while retaining the ability to reload. Peak damage was no longer tied to a single opportunity, meaning Ranger's most destructive weapons are now a permanent asset. DLC continues its usual trend by expanding every aspect of Ranger's equipment. New weapons were introduced across every weapon category. The backpack equipment roster received additional grenades, mines, and support equipment, and Ranger also gained his first collection of level 100+ vehicles, including 7 new tanks, as well as a new helicopter for the base game. Some gun handling was improved for Ranger's overall combat flow. Certain shotguns and grenade launchers gained access to tactical reloads, letting ammunition to be replenished before completely emptying the weapon. Cutting reload downtime in this way increased weapon uptime and reduced the chances of being caught defenseless during prolonged engagements. Movement was made slightly smoother through the addition of automatic terrain vaulting. Whenever Ranger was not firing, he could climb over lower obstacles without requiring a dedicated input, making navigation across uneven environments noticeably less restrictive during combat. By the endgame of EDF 6, Ranger still remains recognizable as EDF's ground force. Yet across the past 3 mainline games, the devs have steadily removed limitations, growing his tactical options and polishing almost every aspect of the class. The result is a soldier capable of adapting to nearly every battlefield with an arsenal that balanced firepower, utility, survivability, and mobility like never before. Ranger's evolution was never built around a single radical mechanic. It's the accumulation of numerous thoughtful improvements that transformed EDF's everyman into a true one-man army.